Dear story lovers, welcome to Story Planet, where every story is a gateway to a new experience. Tonight, we take you to Willowbrook, a village where a calm brook runs close to every doorstep. In Willowbrook, as the sun sets and the evening cools, the villagers gather by the fire to hear the captivating tales of Serafin, their cherished storyteller. His stories will carry you from the peaceful banks of the brook to the endless sands of distant deserts, where mysteries and ancient wisdom await. As you listen, you'll be accompanied by the soothing sounds of the brook's gentle flow and the soft crackling of the fireplace, enhancing the serene atmosphere and drawing you deeper into the story. So, sit back, relax, and let the magic of Serafin's words sweep you away on a journey like no other. The experience begins now. The Desert Tales of Serafin the Wanderer. In the quaint European village of Willowbrook, nestled in a lush valley between rolling hills and a gurgling brook, the nights were often filled with the sound of laughter, the crackling of a warm fire, and the soft murmur of stories being told. Willowbrook was a place where time seemed to move a little slower, where the cottages were clustered on either side of a babbling brook, their walls adorned with ivy, and their chimneys always puffing out gentle wisps of smoke. The brook was the lifeblood of the village, its clear waters running down from the hills above and winding through the center of Willowbrook, bringing with it a sense of calm and tranquility. The villagers used the fresh brook water directly from the hills, grateful for the cool, pure stream that ran close to their doorsteps. This brook was always mild and calm, a great fortune for the villagers, meeting all their water needs. It never rose to flood their homes, nor did it dry up during the hottest summers. Its steady flow provided countless natural benefits, nourishing the land and giving life to the wildflowers and herbs that grew along its banks. At the heart of this village lived a man named Serafin. He was in his early 40s, with a strong yet gentle presence. His hair was a mix of dark brown and early silver, and his face bore the lines of someone who had seen much of the world, but still carried a sense of wonder in his eyes. Serafin was known as the village storyteller, a role he had inherited not by birth, but by experience. Serafin had spent much of his youth traveling far beyond the green pastures of Willowbrook, venturing into lands that the villagers could hardly imagine. Arid deserts where the sun blazed like a relentless furnace, and where the horizon stretched endlessly, blurring the line between earth and sky. It was these tales of distant, mysterious deserts that Serafin shared with the villagers each night, drawing them into worlds so different from their own. Every evening, as the sun dipped behind the hills and the sky turned a deep shade of purple, the villagers would gather by the brook that ran through the center of Willowbrook. The brook, with its gentle flow, provided a soothing soundtrack to the evening, its waters glistening in the light of the rising moon. The cottages on either side of the brook seemed to lean in, as if eager to listen to the stories themselves. A fire was always lit on the bank of the brook, its flames dancing and casting warm, flickering light on the faces of those who gathered around. The children would sit closest to the fire, their eyes wide with anticipation, while the adults formed a circle around them, their hearts eager to escape into the tales of distant lands. Serafin would take his seat on a large wooden log that served as his storytelling perch, positioned perfectly between the fire and the brook. The log was weathered, and worn from years of use, its surface polished smooth by the countless evenings Serafin had spent there. It seemed to welcome him as he settled in, as if it had become an old friend, familiar with the rhythm of his tales. "Tonight," Serafin began, his voice deep and resonant, "I will take you to a place where the sun kisses the earth with such intensity that even the shadows seek refuge, where the sands shift like the waves of the sea, and where the wind whispers secrets of ancient times." The children leaned forward, captivated by the vivid imagery, while the adults exchanged knowing glances, recognizing the familiar cadence of Serafin's tales. "This is the tale of the desert of Elyria," Serafin continued, "a vast expanse of golden sand that stretches as far as the eye can see. It is a land where time seems to stand still, where the sun and stars rule the heavens, and where those who wander often find more than they seek." The villagers were silent, their imaginations already transported to the distant desert. They could almost feel the heat of the Illyrian sun, see the endless dunes, and hear the eerie silence that only a desert could hold. Serafin's voice took on a softer tone as he wove the story. "I arrived in Elyria after many weeks of travel, my only companion a sturdy horse named Bramble, and the stories I had gathered along the way. The desert is a place of stark beauty, but it is also a place of great mystery. It hides its secrets beneath layers of sand, revealing them only to those who are patient and wise." He paused, letting the words sink in, the fire crackling softly as if it too were listening. "One evening," Serafin continued, "as the sun began to set and the sky turned a deep shade of crimson, I found myself standing at the edge of a great dune, larger than any I had seen before. As I climbed to the top, my breath was taken away by the sight before me, a vast sea of sand stretching out in every direction, glowing in the fading light." The children gasped, their minds painting pictures of this otherworldly landscape. "I set up camp at the top of that dune," Serafin said, "and as night fell, the desert transformed. The heat of the day gave way to a cool breeze, and the sky, once a blazing blue, became a canvas of stars, more than I had ever seen before. The Milky Way stretched across the heavens like a river of light, and the constellations seemed to tell stories of their own." Serafin's voice grew softer, almost a whisper. "It was in this stillness that I first heard the song of the desert." The villagers leaned in, intrigued by this new element in Serafin's tale. "The song of the desert," Serafin explained, "is not something you hear with your ears, but with your heart. It is the sound of the wind as it dances through the dunes, the soft rustle of sand as it shifts beneath your feet, and the distant cry of a lone falcon soaring above. It is a melody that speaks of the ancient past, of civilizations long gone, and of the secrets the desert holds." The fire crackled, and the brook murmured in the background, as if adding their own notes to the song of the desert. "As I listened to the song," Serafin continued, "I felt a deep connection to the land around me. I understood that the desert, though harsh and unforgiving, was also a place of profound beauty and wisdom. It was a place where one could find clarity and purpose, where the noise of the world faded away, leaving only the essential." Serafin paused, letting the villagers absorb the weight of his words. But the desert was not done with me yet, he said, a hint of mystery in his voice. For as I sat there, bathed in the light of 1,000 stars, I noticed something strange. A light in the distance, flickering like a flame. It was faint at first, almost imperceptible, but as I watched, it grew brighter, as if calling to me. The villagers were silent, their imaginations racing with possibilities. I could not ignore the light, Serafin said, so I mounted Bramble and set off in its direction, guided only by the stars and the song of the desert. I rode for what felt like hours, the light growing steadily closer until at last I came upon it. A small oasis, hidden deep within the dunes. The villagers sighed with relief, glad to know that Serafin had found water in the harsh desert. But this was no ordinary oasis, Serafin continued. The water was as clear as glass, reflecting the stars above, and the air was filled with the scent of jasmine and myrrh. In the center of the oasis stood a single palm tree, its leaves rustling softly in the breeze. And beneath the tree sat an old man, his skin weathered by the sun, his eyes as deep and dark as the night sky. Serafin's voice grew softer, as if sharing a secret meant only for those gathered by the fire. The old man looked up at me as I approached, and he smiled, a smile that held the wisdom of many lifetimes. He gestured for me to sit beside him, and as I did, he spoke. The villagers leaned in, eager to hear what the old man had to say. He told me that he was the guardian of the oasis, Serafin said, a place that appeared only to those who were truly lost in the desert. He had lived there for centuries, watching over the travelers who found their way to his hidden refuge. The oasis, he said, was a place of healing, a sanctuary for the weary soul. The fire crackled softly, the only sound breaking the silence that had fallen over the villagers. The guardian spoke of the desert's power, Serafin continued, of how it could strip away all that was unnecessary, leaving only the essence of who you truly were. He told me that the desert was not a place to be feared, but to be respected, for it held the secrets of the earth and the sky, of life and death. The villagers listened intently, their hearts moved by the old man's words. The guardian then offered me a choice, Serafin said. He told me that I could stay at the oasis, safe from the dangers of the desert, or I could continue my journey, taking with me the wisdom I had gained. The choice was mine, and mine alone. Serafin paused, his eyes reflecting the flickering flames of the fire. I chose to continue my journey, he said, for I knew that there were still many stories to be told, many lessons to be learned. The guardian smiled at my decision and gave me a gift, a small vial of water from the oasis, a token of the desert's wisdom. Serafin reached into his satchel and pulled out a small ornate vial, holding it up for the villagers to see. The water inside shimmered in the firelight, casting tiny rainbows in the air. I carry this vial with me always, Serafin said, as a reminder of the wisdom I found in the desert of Elyria, and as a symbol of the journey that continues, both within and beyond the sands. The villagers gazed at the vial with awe, its shimmering contents seeming to hold all the mysteries of the desert. Serafin tucked the vial back into his satchel and looked out at the villagers, his voice warm and inviting. And so, my friends, the desert taught me that no matter where we wander, no matter how far we travel, the true journey is the one we take within ourselves. It is a journey of discovery, of understanding, and of finding the magic that lies in every corner of the world, even in a small village like Willowbrook. The children, now sleepy-eyed, leaned against their parents, dreaming of deserts, ancient oases, and the wisdom of old guardians. The adults, too, felt a sense of peace, reminded that even in their quiet village, the world was full of wonders waiting to be discovered. As Serafin finished his tale, the fire crackled softly, and the brook murmured in agreement. The villagers lingered for a while longer, savoring the warmth of the fire and the magic of the evening, before slowly making their way back to their cottages. Serafin remained by the fire, his thoughts drifting back to the deserts he had wandered, to the stories he had gathered, and to the many more that were yet to be told. He knew that tomorrow night, and every night after, the villagers would return, eager to be taken on another journey through the stories of his travels. And, as the stars twinkled brightly above Willowbrook, the village settled into a peaceful slumber, knowing that as long as Serafin was there to share his tales, the magic of distant lands and ancient wisdom would always be close at hand. Dear story lovers, thank you for joining us tonight on Story Planet. We hope Serafin's tale has brought a touch of magic to your evening and guided you gently toward peaceful dreams. If you enjoyed this story, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel so you never miss a journey into the world of imagination and wonder. Your support means the world to us and helps to keep the stories flowing. Good night, and may your dreams be sweet until next time.